Welcome to Tent Talk, the podcast with Nancy McCready, where we talk about life under the big tent of God's presence and the provoking process of discipleship. Here we go.
Staying with slow fire formation as the Father is preparing us for what's coming. You see, He knows, doesn't He? We don't know. Every single one of us have had some kind of day where the whole thing flipped. And you may have woken up one morning, all is well, and by the end of that day, when you were going to bed, your whole world had flipped. Things had happened you didn't see coming. And this will always be true. We are not fortune tellers. I don't care how much we move in the prophetic. It is only the Father that knows what is coming. You see, today when I'm recording this a few days before you're listening to it in real time, you see, I don't know what's coming later today. I mean, I pretty much know what's about to happen in the next few hours, or let me say it this way, I know what is scheduled. But at any moment, a phone call could come in and shift the entire schedule. At any moment, something could happen, and you could be with a family member in a hospital somewhere. You could suddenly get a call, and plans have changed. For the good or for the bad, we would say. So no one knows but the Father what's really coming. So when something doesn't make sense to you now, you're like, why is this being required? You lean into Him. Have conversations with Him at His table. Let Him talk to you like a son. He wants to share things with us. He wants to have conversations. He's not interested in us being clueless. But He is interested in us being leaned into Him, fully dependent, living off every word that's coming out of His mouth, not living by formula, but living by fire-breathed fellowship. Now that happens in the ordinary of every day, in the boring, in the elated, right? In the expected and the unexpected. Because the Father is very faithful and loyal to His own plans over you. And you may be quite satisfied with the season that you're in, but your satisfaction isn't the last word. His is. And He knows what's coming, and He knows what it is that He has planned for us in the midst of all of that. So He gets you ready. That's why sometimes you look out of season. Everybody else is wearing their tank top, and you're in a parka. That's how it feels, doesn't it? You feel very out of season. Everything seems contradictory. And you're like, I don't get it. Stay. Stay on the anvil, stay in the house. Stay seated at the Father's table. Talk with Him. Let Him speak to you. And trust. And lean in no matter what is happening. Because you'll never regret that. And then you'll never deny Him that which He truly desires, a mature son. He loved you when you were a baby. He loved you when you were a sinner. He loves you now, and He loves you and wants life with you. Because there's something that He desires. And many times people, and I'll just throw this in here, many times people will ask, why does God, tolerate all of this? Why doesn't He just deal with the devil? Because then He has to deal with all of us. Once it becomes judgment, it's not just judge the devil, it's judging everything, everybody. And I think what the Father might prefer, and when I heard this many, many years ago, oh, how the truth brings maturity. Is I heard someone teach, maybe what the Father prefers is to keep the door of salvation open, which means, yes, He has to tolerate the devil, but how about if He has mature sons who hold the devil at bay, who hold back darkness, Sons of light is what we are called. Sons of the day in 1 Thessalonians 5. How about we are cooperating with the Father rather than begging him to make everything easier or saying, get me out of here? No, we are those who live in such a way as to hasten the day of his return. We don't understand. We're still all up in ourselves. I just wish the Lord would come. Really? Let's think about that. There's much to be done. There is much work ahead. The Father needs us free from our flesh filters that filter everything either through we resent work or we fear work or we seek work thinking that by doing it is going to earn us something. He needs us to understand that he wrote down and prepared works for us beforehand. Ephesians 2:10. The enemy loves to taint the original so that we filter everything through the counterfeit. There are works, my friends, and we're being formed and fashioned as those who will be apostolic workers, that we will be those who are builders. That we will be those who say, Father, what is it that you have need of? You see, sons who give themselves to him voluntarily in the day of his power, not grudgingly. That's how Jesus lived, and we share in his life. I'm going to say it until it breaks through. We must see him as he truly is. We must recognize him. So we want to stay with him in what he's doing, understanding his ways, not having to be chased down like bastards who refuse the discipline of the Lord. No one's going to tell me what to do. No, somebody's going to tell you what to do. You know, the original lie, is like, come on out here and be independent and then you can be the big God. Right. The enemy knew that was his ticket in to be the God of this world, and it worked. And it still works today. Puff them up. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. Yeah, somebody's going to tell you what to do. Might as well be your father. Might as well be the Father of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The same one Jesus yielded to and took instruction from. Yeah. You know Jesus, the all-powerful, the Son of God, the Son of Man, yielded to the Father all the way through. He didn't get so big and so grown and so mature that he told the Father, I got it. No. He leaned in closer and closer and closer to the Father as time went by. And you see, we learn that our Father wants to prove his sons, not simply protect them from everything. Sons are proven. God does not shield his sons from fire. He's going to put them in the fire of his presence so that they can then be trusted with fire. Because there's not going to be any strange fire up in the house of God. Will we become skilled along with our Father that I learned years ago? The sword can't come through your mouth until it's come through your heart. We don't want to be those that just stab everybody with the truth. We want to be skilled, whether it be with a scalpel or whatever is necessary. And that fire comes in the form of true discipline, forming and shaping and the habitual way of life of Christ. The book of Hebrews tells us that discipline is what proves sonship. It validates, I think it's in the Message Bible or the Passion Translation, says that discipline validates our authentic sonship. If you are not subject to discipline and correction, then you're making it known that you're not a true son. You're exempt. Fire, my friends, does not mean rejection. It means an investment of your Father's focus and time. And He's got all the time necessary to bring forward His sons through fire. And then let the enemy throw whatever he will. They will not falter and fall. This is what you see in Jesus. This is what you see in Peter and Paul after the cross. On the other side of the cross, when Christ is being formed in them, when Paul says things like, I'm in travail and pain to see Christ formed in you. And yet fire also, does it not reveal what cannot stay? Did you know that when steel is first put in the furnace, it will resist in the beginning? Much like us. And fire brings to the top the things, the impurities, those things. We're not being purified. This picture oftentimes makes it seem as like the Father is purifying the old nature. No. No. His nature within us. There is nothing to be purified, but it is things that need to be separated out in the soul and body. You know, A.W. Tozer warned that spiritual depth is quite expensive. That formation by the fire of God that brings us into the depths of Christ is costly. It'll cost you every other fire you've ever dabbled in. It'll cost you every other fountain you ever drank from. It will cost you every other lust you have indulged. But finally, you will see what that bully of sin really is. Those things have never brought comfort to you. All they did was come as an illusion of comfort and then trapped you, brought you into bondage, tortured you, stole from you. But the formation that the Father brings, you will never give up anything that doesn't bring you full face into Him. He's the point of the formation, that He will have the sons that He desires, and they will know the love that He cherishes for them. You see, the Father is training and disciplining and forming and forging in the fire sons that He intends to be able to entrust in the days ahead. Are we glad-hearted, jealous, trustworthy sons yet? Can we be trusted in the hidden place? Can we be trusted when no one's watching? Not trusted to perform, trusted as those who trust only the Father. So the fire doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't remove sonship. It confirms it. It deepens it. It expands it. It matures it. So never, ever interpret the heat as abandonment. Never interpret the heat of true forming. The true fiery education that the Father brings to the sons. Never see it as He's done with you. He's punishing you. You don't know Christ crucified if you think the Father is punishing you. We punish ourselves by walking out in the seductions of sin and going off on, walks with demons. Father is proving His great love for you, and that He will prepare you for the future He's written down over you. So don't ever interpret the heat as abandonment, my friends. Interpret it for what it is exactly, is that He's shaping and forming His sons in the very fire of His presence, and we will never be those who run from His fire in the future. I love you all. Until next time.
For more information on Nancy, please visit nancymccready.com or follow her on social media at NBMcCready.